Hello, you join us again in Rams, where today I'm with Jonathan Ash. We're here to talk about his art. He's got a couple of exhibitions coming up this year, so I thought it would be a good idea to have a chat with him. So you're a local boy?
I am, yeah. Moved to Kent when I was 6 years old. We moved to Bredhurst to start with, which isn't sort of midway, but you know it's just on the periphery, so I think I can get away with that one.
Yeah.
And then when I was 7, we moved to Rochester. So
okay.
been here on and off ever since. So
Yeah.
sort of moved away, come back a couple of times.
Yeah, right. And so you're an artist. How did you become an artist?
By complete chance,
Right.
to be honest with you, and it was only actually 3 years ago that I started doing this as a full-time job.
Yeah.
I kind of had a number of jobs beforehand, and just kind of needed a big change. There were a lot of changes in my life. Not great, but. Needed something that was going to really exactly that, like something that's going to really focus my mind down and allow me to concentrate on one thing basically. And it just so happened that one of the colleges was doing an NVQ art course, and for some bizarre reason I thought that might be a good idea, so I sort of went with it. And
so had you dabbled before then, or was it just
not really. No, I mean I've always loved art as like a consumer of art.
Okay.
So going to exhibitions, bookcase full of books about artists as well. When I was at uni, part of the study I did was to do with French art in the late 19th century through to sort of the early 20th century as well.
Impressionist stuff?
It kind of started with Impressionism, and then it took all the way through Cubism, all the way to Dadaism as well. Okay. So it's that really triggered my love of that particular era of art and style of art.
Yeah.
So so it's always been there.
That
in the
makes
background,
sense, having seen some of the stuff, and we'll post some of it over the course of the video. That kind of makes sense, yeah.
Okay, well that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll be interested to sort of see how you interpret that. It was so sort of from that, because we had to do study of particular artists, and I really focused. Well, I was focusing on a guy called Guillaume Apollinaire, who was an art critic at the time that sort of Picasso and Braque started dabbling with Cubism, if you like, really. And it kind of led me on to going to like the Tate in Liverpool, where they had a lot of really good exhibitions to do with that. I kind of got a lifelong love of a guy called Marcel Duchamp, who is actually my favourite artist.
The urinal man.
The urinal man, and that's all he seems to sort of. That is the sort of thing he's most well known for, sort of thing. But actually, what he did that I absolutely love was. He took the concept of Cubism, which is of course trying to paint a 2D representation of every facet of an object. So you're trying to sort of, paint parts of the back, and he added movement to it as well, sort of thing. So this was sort of before he did the ready-mades, which is like the urinal and the bike wheel and things like that.
Yeah. And
it just really fascinated me for seeing how somebody interpreted the sort of idea of trying to capture movement as well.
Okay.
So
Right. Wow. Okay. So let's have a quick look at some of these.
Well, shall I let you choose what you'd like to look at?
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just bought a few, just to I've bought hundreds. So kind of all right.
They can be sort of divided into categories as far as I can see.
Right.
You've got.
What's really nice here is because you haven't sort of had a lot of time to look at the art, so I'm interested in how you're kind of going to approach this, if you see what I mean. Well, because it's all right, the artist thing, but it's really nice when somebody else is sort of, having a look at it.
So there's quite a few Medway related scenes. That's
Brian House.
That's what is it?
Brian House, House, down on the new road.
On the new road.
And that one's interesting because I'll say. Moved here when I was 6, and Mum used to drag me to the Pentagon on a regular basis to go shopping in Sainsbury's in the Pentagon because my brother lived there. Lived there? Worked there even. He didn't live there.
That would be odd.
Yes, that would be a
What?
slightly different
By the
story.
baked
You know.
beans.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So so he worked in the Sainsbury's, and I've got a feeling Mum used to get a discount, which is why we always ended up.
That's because he
shopping.
lived there and they.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He didn't have to pay rent. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So we went past this pretty much, once a week.
Yes.
And so it had always been sort of something I'd seen.
3 imposing monuments.
Yes,
Almost like.
brutalist architecture.
Yes.
And then now, because I work out of Nucleus Arts in Chatham High Street,
Yeah.
I kind of go past it every day as well. So
Yeah.
I felt I really wanted to capture that
Monoliths
because it was
on
important
the,
to me.
The
Yeah,
skyline. Of
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you go about painting something like this? Is it based on photographs or?
Yeah, well, for this one, and over a few months, kind of thing, I was taking photos from different sort of angles and trying to get certain lights and that sort of thing, and even running across the road, standing in the road, taking a few photos, and then running. In fact, this one
You risked your life to do this.
I suffer from my art. What can I say? But and it was a question of sort of looking at a few of them and trying to capture what I wanted to do was I really wanted to capture the sun kind of hitting the balconies,
Yeah.
and so this was kind of an autumny sort of day when I was walking in quite early and the sun is behind me, so it was just sort of I was coming down Chatham Hill,
Yeah.
and it was hitting the balconies. It's
Yeah.
not based on one picture; it's actually based on some I've taken over a while,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Hmm.
So, so that's the sort of way I wanted to go with it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Right. So that's that one. There's some more Medway-ish ones, aren't there? There's one of a bus at the old Chatham bus
the old
station.
Chatham
Let me
bus
just find it. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story about the old bus station.
Yeah, go on then. Tell us a story about the old bus
Well,
station.
the painting that we'll eventually find is called. Oh God, what's it called? That's not a good. I can't believe I've forgotten that. Yeah, something along the lines of Romances Won and Lost.
Right.
Because basically, I think for any sort of person that grew up while the Penticton bus station was there,
Yeah.
basically that's where your relationship started, and usually where they ended as well. Sometimes, within a week. So
Right.
I'd be waiting for the 132 bus, and
Yeah.
I'd sort of start somehow going out with somebody because
Now here it is.
there was nothing else to do at the time. Maybe I don't know, but yeah. So what I've done with this one is to try and capture the beauty of Penticton
The
bus
beauty
station.
of
The
a
beauty, yeah.
Okay.
Was I actually sort of considered the Edward Hopper kind of scenes, and you've got the sort of the warm light coming in, like the very famous the diner one sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, let's shove in some neon as well, make it almost look New York style.
Right.
Because let's be honest, the Penticton bus station never really looked quite as vibrant as that. But there are only so many greys you can have, so yeah. I thought I'd just have a bit of fun with that
Yeah.
picture.
Okay. Fantastic. And then there's one of the absolute landmarks of the Medway.
I can't imagine what
landscape.
that one's going to be. Then
It's
would
got
that
to be Mr. Waghorn himself and his famous cone.
Oh yes.
We'll find that
yes.
in a second.
Well, actually, in some ways, that one was a bit of a trigger for me doing art full time as well. Yeah,
Mr. Waghorn.
he's a good chap, isn't he? He's very well known for the fact that he was the first person to come up with a postal route to India, isn't he?
And wear a
what he's
cone
well
on his
known
head.
for. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
So, actually, funnily enough, in one of my exhibitions, I was chatting to somebody who was really, really upset that I put in a painting of Thomas Waghorn with a cone on his head. He said, "It's terrible that this has been happening, recently, and thugs have been going up there and putting the cone on his head." I said, "I think you're fine. This has been going on since the 60s."
I'm disappointed there's not one on his arm as well.
There often is, yes,
Yeah.
but I felt that I don't want to overdo it. You can have too much of a good cone, can't you?
You can have too much of a good cone. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thought I'd do that one, but this one kind of triggered me doing a lot more art, because it was actually my niece
Mhm.
who asked me to do a painting of Thomas Waghorn with the cone, and I hadn't really been painting very long. In fact, I've been doing a lot of drawing for about a year, and I've only just started using acrylics to do painting.
Yeah.
So I had no idea whether I was able to do it or not. So it was a real sort of, experiment. And this one came out. So she owns the original. So very, very sought after now, I'm sure.
Right.
It kind of, from doing this, it gave me that confidence that I was able to actually use acrylics and paint in acrylics and sort of find a particular style.
Okay. Yeah. Is there something about Medway itself that draws you? Or is it, I happen to live here, so I'll just paint what's here? Would you do the same if you lived in Portsmouth or Derby or?
I don't know. I think it's the fact that whatever's happened in my life, I seem to have somehow been sort of magnetised back to Medway.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, I kind of like the childhood memories of it. So by painting it, it's almost like reminding me of when I was growing up here, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because with the best intention in the world, the place you grow up isn't necessarily the place that you, at the time, if you like, at the time, it's not the place that you think is great. You want to get away, don't you? And I did get away quite a few times. But obviously with mum and dad living here, and now mum living here, it's always drawn me back.
Yeah.
And I say, the circumstances aren't necessarily great for me coming back this time, but at the same time, I am absolutely loving it. I'm doing something that I really enjoy. I've got very much sort of into the art scene in Medway, and it's very, very vibrant. It's incredible what's going on.
Yeah.
Musically, artistically, it's wonderful.
So you do work at Nucleus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
Okay, so well, it was again talking about sort of taking advantage of things that just come around the corner.
Yeah.
When I first came back, which was 2017. I moved back this time.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Nucleus was even there.
Right.
And one of my friends was actually saying to me, there's this lovely place, and I was really scared because to go in there.
So it's the one in Chatham?
Yeah, it's the one that's kind of by...
shops.
Yeah, exactly, buying shops sort of opposite Iceland-ish.
Yeah.
And to get in there, you've almost got to you've got to make that decision that you're going to go through there because you've no idea what's the other side of it. There's this incredible sort of oasis of plants. There's a beautiful cafe there, sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I was very apprehensive of actually going in. So I went in, and there was an exhibition on, and a guy called Mick Hutchins was doing it.
Right.
And I sort of got chatting to him, and he was just talking about how he put the exhibition on. I thought, well, do you know what? I've been painting in my room at home, basically.
Yeah.
On the bed, because that's about the only space you can actually get a large piece of paper or canvas.
Okay.
And anyway, he was chatting about it, and he sort of kind of fired me up, thinking, yeah, do you know what? I quite fancy doing an exhibition.
Right.
Never done anything like it before. I hadn't been painting for a long time. So I went into the reception and I sort of said to them, how do you go about it? And they explained it. And then Genevieve, who's the gallery manager, absolutely brilliant, she basically said, oh, we've just had somebody pull out in 3 months' time. And I was like, yeah, all right, let's go for that. Which was like, 5 minutes later, it was just like, what have I done, sort of thing, because I'm going to have to paint, 40 pictures to go in this exhibition in 3 months.
Right.
But it was a real motivator, and
It would be.
yeah, because when I went in, I was thinking, I'll book something in about a year's time, but so that was my first exhibition. Yeah, really was, but at the same time, it gave me a focus, and I decided on that one that I was going to do something to do with Medway. There were going to be a lot of paintings in there to do with my memories, which is where those pictures we've just looked at came from. Yeah. Not the Bryant flats, because I did that quite recently for my last exhibition. So my first exhibition was Yeah, quite quick. Called From Medway to Medway and Back.
Okay.
So the idea was that it was, not every single picture was a reflection of Medway, but
Yeah.
probably about half of them were something to do with Medway.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So
And of
there's
course, Thomas Waghorn, my bestseller.
your bestseller.
Yeah, absolutely. For some reason, I don't know why.
There's one here of this is another loosely Medway related one, which is the Victory.
Yeah. Now this
It was built in Chatham.
It was, yeah, in the dockyard.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a story for every occasion on this, but
That'll do. Yeah, we like a story.
I was commissioned to do a large-scale painting for the foyer of a block of flats in the Esplanade in Rochester.
Right.
And it was a block of flats that were on the entrance to the old Short Brothers plane factory that was basically, spanned all the way down to almost to Borstal.
Yeah.
It's huge complex. So I did this painting, and it's hanging up. And from that, the management company of another block of flats commissioned me to do 4 paintings, slightly smaller ones, of ships that were either built at Chatham Dockyard or were, to do with Medway.
Yeah.
And so this one, which is of course the Victory,
Mhm.
which is in Portsmouth at the moment.
Yeah.
So that was just one of the pictures that I did out of these 4. But the thing I absolutely love about it is back in the late 40s and early 50s, my dad was stationed at Chatham Dockyard. So he'd been like 19, 20 years old. He was a medical officer.
Mhm.
And so I like the fact that I've actually got works hanging on St Mary's. Sorry, St Mary's Island is where they were commissioned for. So I've got works hanging.
Was it those 2 big ones?
Not those, but this actually on the other side of the bridge, HMS Chatham Bridge. There are 2 blocks of flats,
Okay.
and they've got like 4 foyers, so they commissioned one for each foyer.
Oh, brilliant.
But I like the fact that something that's got a sort of family history for me.
Yeah.
Actually, it's I've got work in the kind of place that my dad would have been as a young adult. So it sort of added a little bit of
that's good.
to nostalgia for me as well.
So what are the other 3 boats?
Oh, you're testing me now. Go on. Yeah, go on. I painted them months ago. Oh no, what were they? So you've got the Victory. There's the HMS Arethusa as well. You've got the HMS Chatham itself, and then you've got the Medway Queen, which was part of the Dunkirk evacuation. And of course, it's now Gillingham Pier. You've got they're doing restoration on it there, so it's well known to Medway.
Yeah.
Lovely steamboat as well. So,
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've never painted ships before. All I've done is that one plane. So again, it was another great challenge for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's great. Fantastic. And because you have colour blindness. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm colourblind, which again has given me that particular style.
Yeah.
So I cannot blend colours,
Right.
which means because if I blend a colour and I haven't made enough of it, I can never get that same shade again because I really can't see
So
what it would be.
yeah, I mean, I have a very limited understanding of colour blindness. I always imagine you see a red as a green or something like that. Or
Not-
is it something a bit.
Again, I mean everyone's different,
Yeah.
so everybody's. It's to do with the rods and the cones that actually interpret colour at the back of your eyes.
Yeah.
So, and everybody sort of has a different set of rods and cones anyway. So
Yeah.
it's almost probably as unique as your fingerprints, if you like.
Okay.
So, if you were talking to another person who didn't have colour blindness. If you could swap eyes in a sort of Minority Report style, then you may see something completely different anyway.
Yeah.
But there's like a normal bell curve, if you like. So
Right,
the vast majority of people are on this sort of normal bell
Yeah.
curve, and then you've got people who have colour blindness who kind of have got a slightly more extreme sort of or limited
Yeah.
colour vision. the way I describe it is if you can imagine you've got a very stark red and a very stark blue,
Yeah.
and then what you've got like 12 gradations between them, moving from more and more blue within it. Whereas you might be able to see all 12 as different hues.
No.
For me, I
Purple?
can probably So for me, I can probably see about 4 of them, if that sort of thing. So
it's more of a limited palette that you.
yes, yeah,
looking
exactly
at.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Having said that, there are certain colours. So, for example, red and brown. I struggle to differentiate red and brown.
Okay.
So, as I say, if I'm ever playing snooker with anyone, they've got to just accommodate me on this one.
Okay.
But if you ever see me on the road, red and green aren't too bad, sort of thing. So,
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's
yeah.
good.
So
Right.
don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What drew you to doing art with that colour blindness?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah, but all the things.
Was it a challenge?
I should have done crochet or something, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, I think that's brilliant about art is that I don't like sit on my backside and sort of just do the same thing. I do like actually finding something that's going to really sort of push the box out a little bit. If you know what I mean. So with this, well, when I first started doing the course that I was talking about, I had a really good tutor, and I was scared of colour. Absolutely, didn't want to go anywhere near it. I just thought that everybody else.
Yourself to sketching? Or?
Yeah, because I hadn't had a good experience at school, basically.
Okay.
To do with art, and not a very supportive teacher. As actually, a lot of artists say that. Interestingly.
Oh, right.
And so when I did this course, I kind of stuck with just using pencil and sketching, and the tutor was really good. And she sort of noticed that I had something when I was doing like portraits, that I kind of captured the emotion in a face and things like that. So she really encouraged me that way. And I didn't really move on from that while I was doing the course. And actually for the best part of a year, I didn't go anywhere near colour. And then I kind of wanted to do something a bit different. So I had some acrylics hanging around. And so I kind of only used 2 colours. So I would sort of paint some linen paper, and then I would just use black and do a kind of, almost like I was sketching with pencil still, but just using black. So it was almost like a very stark, what would you call, almost pop art like, if you see what I mean. It was very much a sort of stencil looking thing. And so I did that for, again, probably about a year, and then just slowly started thinking, okay, what happens if I throw in another colour? And then just sort of over time it built up and up and up. So I mean, I tend not to use more than sort of 6 or 7 colours in any painting I'm doing. And I often use a sort of limited palette, so I might sort of focus on a blue palette, or I might focus on a red and orange palette sort of thing. And the only way I can do it is to actually get the colours I think I'm going to use, and I say think I'm going to use because often halfway through I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that one now. And I put them from dark to light. So I look at the darkest hue, so a Payne's grey or a very dark brown, right up to a sort of Naples yellow or something like that, and I'll only use those colours. And when I'm painting, I paint in layers. So I start with the darkest layer, and I literally sort of work my way up. So that's what gives it its sort of quite stark boundary between the colours.
Right.
Sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I?
You do sound, I'm convinced. I think you do know what
Excellent.
you're talking about.
My work here is done.
So there's a.
Yeah. So this one, and I mean, I love the human face, and I love paintings where I am capturing a kind of feeling and an emotion. So this is only 3 colours. So you've only got, I think it's red.
Yellow,
and
black.
And because the white actually is just the
Just not painting there.
Yeah, it's just not painted. But with that, you can get this incredible feeling. I mean, for me, this is a very serene picture. You know, it's somebody who. This is called a golden hijab. This one.
Okay.
It's just that sort of. Everything's very calm about it. So just doing that with 3 colours.
Yeah.
You know.
So, who is she, or
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think this one came from a catalogue, actually. I seem to remember. And,
A catalogue. Okay.
and just the picture, the face, and the emotion sort of jumped out at me. And again, it's not an exact representation of the picture. It's sort of I use that as a study and then kind of
Just
interpreted
a found image somewhere. And you,
Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever she is, I'm not
Whoever
sure.
she is.
But at the same time, there's actually one in there which
Do you have
is
another?
a friend of mine. And this one, in fact, funnily enough, I was walking along just today, and shall I show this one? There we are, there she is. So that's my friend Sian, that's Sian Bostwick. She's an amazing jeweller and silversmith.
Okay.
She's really, really good. And this one was off of her Instagram account.
Okay. So you've just been stealing her image.
And again, it's you know, the picture that I used as a study was a black and white picture. So
Okay.
again, what I did there, it's only 3 colours.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. But I found that actually when I was painting somebody I knew, I could get a lot more sort of a feeling for it because I know them in 3D. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So was that done from a photo or from sitting for you?
No.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was from Instagram, wasn't it? You did say,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because I've got to be honest with you, because I get very anxious.
Okay.
I'm always feeling that if I'm doing the preliminary sketches in front of anybody, I always think they're going to judge it. If you see what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
That sort of comes from the fact that art came from a place of needing a kind of meditation. I
Okay.
suffered from mental health
Right.
issues for quite a long time, very severe mental health issues,
Mhm.
and a lot of that was to do with anxiety.
Yeah.
So what I find is that when I'm doing particularly the preliminary sketching, I have to be on my own. I have to
Okay.
shut the door.
Yeah.
I have as very little light as possible as well. I
Mm.
just need to really focus down on it.
Okay.
So for that reason, no, I haven't said no to being able to sort of do live paintings, but just as my journey's been so far, it hasn't been something that I've been comfortable with at all.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Mm.
but what I have found is when I'm painting people I know, yes, it kind of takes on an extra dimension.
Because you have seen them.
Yes,
in
because
3D.
I know them.
Yes,
Yeah,
you know them.
absolutely, and I know their personality as well,
Yeah,
and that makes a
yeah,
big difference
yeah.
when I'm painting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Do we have any other people in this? We've got a dancer here.
Oh no, this is this lovely guy called Steve van der Velden who does photography for the New York Ballet and dancers in New York,
Okay.
and he's the most incredible photographer. And I was asking him if he wouldn't mind me using some of his photos as studies for some of
Yeah.
my paintings, because he just seems to capture the movement most incredibly.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything else quite like it, to be honest. And he said to me, "Yeah, you can use whatever you like as long as you credit me and credit the dancer as well." So this is a dancer called Carmen Sauter, who
Okay.
is a New York ballet dancer.
Right.
And the picture again is nothing like this.
Okay.
And in fact, I'll confess that the reason that it hasn't got black all the way down is because I made a massive mistake with trying to get the light on it. And I ended up with this great big splodge of yellow.
Okay.
And it kind of then evolved into me sort of trying to do something with the reds and going, oh God, I've got to do something about this one.
Okay.
And it kind of gave this lava sort of feel at the bottom of it. Now, because she was blue already, in my mind, I wanted to do her blue.
Yeah.
I suddenly realised that if you put sort of blue, the sort of ice and lava together, you're going to get very quickly a sublimation process.
Okay.
It's not going to go to liquid, it's going to go straight to gas.
Yeah.
So I started throwing little splodges of paint over it as well. Sort of thing.
Okay, so it was a happy accident.
It was a complete accident. So this one's called Fire and Ice.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so it wasn't ever intended to look like that at all. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, I've been told not to say things like that. I've been told to sort of say, yes, of course, this is the concept I had in my mind, but no,
You have
that's not going to happen.
this will not pass other than between you and me. We will not
No,
share
no.
this with the rest.
No,
of
so if you can make sure you don't tell
the world.
anyone else, okay? Don't just no one.
Don't
right?
just put
Don't-
it on the internet. For
Don't
example.
anybody that might be watching this. It's our secret.
Yeah. Okay. These aren't people, but they're as close as you can get to it.
You know,
To smash aliens.
I grew up in the 70s. What can I say? You know. In fact, that one there is called "Smash the Monarchy," which is not a political thing, but it's actually again.
King and Queen smash.
It is. It's kind of. I wanted to capture Queen Victoria. So,
Expressing herself as a smash alien. Okay.
exactly that. So you know.
Excellent.
It's, no, I can't go any further than that one. You know, they're just like, oh, whatever. No, a lot of these actually start as quite serious sort of photos, and then I kind of got to the head and went, nah.
So originally there was supposed to be a human head.
Yes. In fact, originally I was going to sort of do a portrait of Queen Victoria, and I think that was her granddaughter Alexandra.
Okay.
But I kind of got to the head, and that was
I
it.
thought, no, sorry,
Yeah,
let's just
there's
do
not
some
one
aliens.
I've put in there actually, but I did one of Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
And again, it was a very serious painting. You know, I was thinking, something like very austere. I got to his head, and it's Charles Dickens' head, and then he's got a Waghorn-style cone on his head after that. So yeah,
Excellent.
you know, I just don't do serious. That's the problem. You know.
Fantastic. Let's scoot through these. If we, we've got a.
Oh,
These are the
I'm a
drier
complete
droids.
nerd. I'm a nerd, and many of my pictures are nerdy, and I get so excited when somebody buys one of my nerdy pictures. So this one here, if you don't mind me sort of explaining this, I love a program called Mystery Science Theatre 3000, MST3K. And it's basically these two robots and a guy, and what they do is they watch really awful movies and then they comment all the way through it. It's absolutely brilliant. But then, of course, you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi down here, and sort of a very famous quote from Star Wars: A New Hope.
Star Wars.
Or Star Wars as we know it.
Yeah.
So, basically, these aren't the droids they're looking for, but they are the two droids from Mystery Science Theatre. Okay? So... And people have bought this, and it's made me so happy. It sort of warms my heart if somebody, because it's like, oh yes, you know exactly what who these droids are. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
And then for a rather more macabre image, we have this skull. There we go. So tell us about the skull.
Okay, so my last exhibition, which was called Body Structure, was all to do with colour blindness. And trying to sort of get other people to consider what it's like to change their perception of colour and what it does to their surroundings.
Yeah.
So the idea here was that I would use some quite bright colours, which you could walk around and look at that, and then there was a sort of little extra surprise, which I've brought something for you to give a go
Okay.
as well,
Right.
sort of thing. So everybody had an opportunity to either use a pair of 3D glasses
Okay.
or
With
sort
the
of-
Jonathan Ash branding on the side.
oh yeah, I mean I've got a hustle, so yeah, absolutely. So the idea was that they look round at the paintings first,
Yeah.
and then they look round again and see what effect it had if you change the colours in front of your eyes.
Okay.
I can't show you what it is for me to be colourblind. I can't make you see,
Yeah.
what I perceive. What I can do is completely mess up your colour perception
Yeah.
and see what happens. So
Thank you.
there's a little present for you to
Thank you. Right.
keep, and just so you don't feel left out, I'll put some on as well.
Oh right, yeah, that's
There we
like
go.
it's really reduced what I can see. It also added in this case it has added a 3D dimension to it.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and that was the idea that then that
Should we
sort of
carry on
led
like
to
this
other
for
ones.
the rest
Well,
of the
do you know what? I'm just sort of thinking that it is pretty cool. And one of the things I loved
It's
about
like,
the preview evening
One of Biff's sidekicks.
Exactly, yeah, it is that, isn't it? So one of the things I really loved about it was that I suddenly had all these people sort of in Chatham who had taken these, and I just had this vision of like all these people walking down Chatham High Street and seeing it in completely different sort of perception, going, "Oh wow, that's amazing!
Chatham's more beautiful than we thought.
That's incredible! Look at those beautiful whatevers." Yeah, so but yes, you can keep those because you never know when you might perceive a colour.
Okay.
Yeah, don't wear them for more than 10 minutes, otherwise it gives you a headache. But anyway, so yes.
Okay.
So that was the idea behind that, and that's actually there was a lot of really good feedback about that, including I had Specsavers come in to do colour blindness tests and do a talk, and I gave a quick talk as well, a sort of artist talk about being colourblind and how it's affected my my art.
Yeah.
Because the style, as I said before, the style has come out of the fact that I have to paint in very stark colours.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was good fun as well, to be honest.
It's amazing, yeah. Right, so you've got some exhibitions coming up, haven't you? You've got the most immediate one is 2020 Hindsight.
Yeah.
The Groovy Uncle retrospective with other Medway musicians as well.
That's been brilliant. It's been so good to be part of this whole project.
Yeah.
It's Glen Prangnell and Groovy Uncle. It's their 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
And they're putting out not new albums at the moment. They're putting out 2 vinyl albums of 2 of their LPs that have only been available on CD before.
Yeah.
And Glenn and I were talking, and he was very keen for me to do a series of portraits of people who had been in the band. Because it's not really a band; it's more of a sort of collaboration, if you like, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
been so many people involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've had members of the Milkshakes, the Prisoners, and a wonderful, wonderful band called Lost Revelers as well.
Yeah.
Who have. Oh no, they have been on the other album. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but they have been on one of the albums already. Or Richard has anyway. The violinist.
And the last one,
Meanwhile, back in medieval Britain.
That one.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And so what he wanted is he wanted some artwork to kind of capture the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And he wanted to have that in a poster format that went in with the very limited edition vinyl releases. There's only 125 of each of the albums coming out, so it's going to be, a collector's edition.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he commissioned me to do a series of paintings that actually became posters, and 2 different posters for the 2 different albums that are coming out as well. And I loved it. It was really, really good fun because I had to focus on, because one of them is on a blue vinyl, so all of the portraits had to be a blue palette.
Yeah, so this is One Vow Away from the Truth and Life's a Gift.
Life's a Gift as well, yeah. So, and they've got 2 separate posters, and many other trinkets that are going in as well. So you're not just getting the album; you're getting a lot of other extras with it.
Yeah.
And that was great. But then I realised that I had a lot of paintings that weren't going to sort of be shown. The originals weren't going to be shown. So I wanted to have some kind of exhibition where we were celebrating the fact that it's Groovy Uncle is very much a sort of Medway collaborative.
Yeah, very much so.
And so I've got an exhibition coming up at the Adult Education Centre in the Rochester Community Hub, where the library is, opposite Eastgate House, where I'm going to be showing those originals plus some other paintings that I'm doing as well, which are to do with the sort of Medway music scene as well. Some of them I've shown before, so I've got paintings of the Dentists, the Milkshakes, the Prisoners and the Pressure. So they're going to be shown again.
And then there's another exhibition later on in the year, isn't there? Which we've got
it is there. I know the colour, so it's
It's
There he is.
There it is. Any second now. Any second now.
Hold this one up.
Borstal Boy.
Yeah, so there we go. So that's Borstal Boy there. And can I just point out that the reason it's called Borstal Boy is because I'm a boy, and I went to school. I went to school in the village of Borstal. Let's just make that clear. St Matthew's Infants and Borstal Manor Junior School. There
Right.
Okay. And that's over Dickens Week, and that's going to be in the new Nucleus Arts building, which is the Halcombe Conservancy building on Rochester High Street as well.
Okay.
So so that's going to be another great fun one.
What's the main focus there? More Medway landmarks?
I'd love to say that there's a real focus to it, but actually I'm sitting there thinking, it's Dickens Festival, I'll probably make a bit of money on this one, so I'm gonna be a commercial tart on this one.
Does Dickens with his comb on his head feature?
I think he probably will.
I think he has to. Yeah.
No, there will be a couple of new canvases as well, because I've got a couple of ideas. And again, it's people that I've met. There's one person who came to the exhibition, and there's another beautiful sort of costume that a lot of people will know, and it's a girl called Amelia, and she dresses up as a young Queen Victoria.
Okay.
And she's done sweeps, and she's done Dickens Festival, and she does Dickens Christmas, and absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be doing a portrait sort of, and this one is going to be quite a serious portrait. No cones on heads, no smash robots sort of faces. This is going to be sort of quite a try and capture that young
regal,
Queen
magnificent.
Victoria. Yeah, exactly. So I've got a couple of new paintings, new relatively large canvases. And then, because I've not really shown any of the paintings that I've done before in Rochester, there'll be quite a few. Yeah, there'll be to do in Medway, there'll be to do in Rochester, that kind of thing as well.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. So you've had a fair bit of interaction with music in Medway over the years.
I have, yes.
Being brother of the Pressure drummer and everything.
And we also used to have members of the prisoners and the militaries come round to the house, and I think I used to sort of throw cardboard boxes at them and generally irritate them, probably pooped them.
How old were you?
About 12. Yeah.
About 12?
Yeah, so I was a little bugger, to be honest. Luckily,
so
the ones I've met since
Bruce
have kind
Brand
of, well, it was more sort of Alan Crockford, and but luckily he's forgiven me. So
I'm glad.
Haven't you, Alan? Yes. Yeah.
Have you forgiven him, Alan?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
We've been out for pints, so
excellent. What's he put in them though? That's the question.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah.
And now obviously you've got this connection with Groovy Uncle. So music from around here. Is there anything in particular that you like, or?
I think the Groovy Uncle stuff is absolutely superb. In fact, there's a particular song I've got on my phone playlist, which is Glenn. It was just a demo of a song that Susie Chunk then did on one of the albums, and it's called "Wish Away the Moon."
Okay.
But he's actually got the demo up on YouTube if you just sort of type into YouTube, and that's him singing it.
It's from the neck down, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, you're putting me on the spot now, but I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Susie did a beautiful version of it. She's got a lovely, lovely voice. Glenn did this wonderful demo of it.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. Lost Revellers as well. If you get the opportunity to, have you ever seen them?
I haven't.
Live?
No.
They are amazing. In fact, is it the 20th of Feb? I think they're doing the Man of Kent.
Okay.
I think it's the 20th. It's really worth it, and I think it's Caitlin and Richard, so it's the accordion and the violin rather than the full 4-piece.
Right.
But and they're going to have portraits up in the 2020 Hindsight exhibition as well.
Okay.
So,
great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So yes, there's a lot of absolutely wonderful music, and I've got to mention the indie folk sessions as well that Andy Graves and Rachel Lowry do. It's one of the best ways of just going along, grab yourself a pint. I was drinking cider at that one. We were talking, weren't we, earlier about the fact that I'd kind of moved from cider to porter.
Yeah.
But actually that was a cider day. The last one I went to was Something House. That was definitely a cider day. And they often have 3 or 4 different acts playing acoustically. And last one I went to, they actually had Dave Reed from McLean. doing
Yeah.
an acoustic set, and
Yeah.
it was exceptional. It was
It
so
was
very
fantastic,
good.
yeah.
So I can, it's all out there, and the majority of it's free as well. I mean, it's just thing. So the art exhibitions are free. You can go to Intri, you can go to Nucleus, you can go to Sun Pier. They'll have free exhibitions there. The pubs, they do free Medway-based music, and it's really, really good. You don't have to spend any money, or maybe a tiny bit of money.
Yeah.
But it's all there, and that's what makes Medway such a vibrant place.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, great. Yeah. Right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think we've covered a fair bit of ground there with your art and music and everything. So yeah, thanks very much.
Also, it's been great. Yeah, it's been lovely to sort of just talk at you, with you. I'm not sure which.
I think it was with me kind of thing.
Excellent. That's always good.
Anyway, so I look forward to attending both those exhibitions.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And just seeing you around in general. I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere at the moment, so it's a good thing, I think.
Okay, right. Well, pleasure to meet you, and thanks for the chat.
Lovely, thank you.
And I will see you again shortly, talking to somebody else about something else. Thanks. Bye.